Happening at the NFL spring meetings later on in the show. Let's talk Cowboys, okay? They're having OTAs. Brian Schottenheimer, of course, the new head coach there. And day 2 happening. Let's see, who's out there? There's a Donovan Ezeraku. They got him in the draft, of course. And you can see that the Cowboys have tried to add weapons on offense. They've tried to strengthen that defense. Here's new head coach Brian Schottenheimer on the addition specifically of George Pickens.
I think he's going to fit in awesome with what we're trying to do here. You guys have talked to him, I think, over the phone, and he's all about, a new opportunity. So, we all change, we all adjust, we all grow. I'm thrilled with the way the guys have responded to him. We did our homework on GP. We don't have those concerns, and we're bringing him into a culture that we feel like he'll thrive just like everybody else. Why? Because it's important to us.
I don't know what else I expected him to say, but it does sound like Schottenheimer's excited about Pickens. We see his play on the field. I don't blame him. What do you expect out of him?
Schottenheimer, by the way, is pitching a no-hitter this offseason.
Yeah.
Every time he's in front of the microphone, you listen, and you're like, wait, that does make sense. He's saying the right thing.
I'm with that.
I'm with that. Look, Will McClay, who does a lot of their player selections, he spoke earlier this month as well, and I thought he was fantastic on it as well. They went to the draft. They had a list of players. They looked at the caliber of wide receivers, and none of them were close to George Pickens, with the exception of Teteroa McMillan, who went number 8 and was unavailable to them. So they get the next best thing. They get him, and it's his final year of a contract for a 24-year-old game breaker who is going to have a financial carrot at the end of this season that could be limitless. If this guy goes off, he can be the biggest free agent signing next year. And also, he's got a bit of chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
You leave Pittsburgh the way he did, and everyone out of Pittsburgh and all the Pittsburgh media is saying he was late to practice, he was late to games, he's a bad teammate, he doesn't block, all this stuff. Pickens is a good player. If ever there was a place in a nurturing environment, it's one where Brian Schottenheimer is going to lift him up, and where the other receiver, CeeDee Lamb, we saw over the weekend, said, I'm not the number one. We're both the number one.
That was good.
I love what they've got going on in Dallas, and I think it's a great situation. And if he's not motivated this year, I don't know when he's going to be motivated to be that guy.
I love what they have going on offensively. I think this offense will be a good offense this year. I really do. I just don't know if the defense can become modern enough. We are back to, we've talked about this for about 4 years on NFL Live, running the ball. So if you look at Dallas's defense, in their first 6 opponents, they're going to face 3 teams, or first 7 opponents, 3 teams that were top 5 running the football last year. And then you have the Bears in there and the Carolina Panthers. I think both of those teams also will be top 10 run offenses. So I think the offense is going to be good. Here's my concern, and this is where I am with Dallas, and I would love to get just the overall perspective. The Dallas front 7 weighs, okay? We go 260, 280, 245, 220, 240, 320.
Small.
There's one person over like 280. When I'm playing Philly.
I'm thinking of Jeff Stoutland's offensive line right now.
Yeah, when I'm thinking Matt LaFleur running the football, I'm thinking what Chicago has done with their offense. So I know that we talk about Dallas and offense and George. I'm going to be very interested to see the annual question about this Cowboys defense. Are you big enough to handle the modern day offense in the NFL? Because it's back to being what it was in the early 2000s.
You mentioned us talking about this on this show for the last 4 years. It's amazing how quickly it switches, and all of a sudden these offenses are just beefed up.
Your light 220-pound linebackers are great until you got to handle 330-pound
But
offensive
that's to
linemen.
Laura's point. That's the game. There's a Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah who's weighing 220 one year, and it's like, wait, we actually need to get back to the bigger linebackers, and we need to KO spikes in the middle.
Exactly. Dallas doesn't have that right now.
Oh, and what they do have, though, kind of, is Micah Parsons, and it's actually pretty cool. He's been at workouts. Here's Schottenheimer. Peter said he's pitching a no-hitter. Let's hear from him about Micah.
First couple of days, what we were doing some, team building things, some culture. We've spoken very openly about trying to create one of the greatest cultures in professional sports. Micah is going to be a leader for us. Micah wants to be a leader for us. He's going to do that, and so I felt like it was really important for him to be here to begin that process. And again, it's a voluntary camp, but the fact that he did that means a lot to me.
All right, just in case you've been living under a rock, Micah Parsons looking for a new deal. Is it a little surprising, Peter, that Mike is there right now?
I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, right.
I love it.
I agree.
Like, Brock Purdy showed up last week to voluntary stuff for the Niners, and I remember saying, that's great. Like, that's good. Like, you want to see that. Gets rewarded with his deal. Micah's doing everything you could ask for a veteran leader to do while he's waiting for his contract to be settled as well, I think there could have been a very different path where it's I'm going to kick and scream and I'm going to bang my head that, hey, I haven't gotten paid yet. No, I'm going to be there. It's a new coach, new defense, new defensive coordinator. I love that he was there.
He has to be there. He's the face of the organization.
Bingo. He has the highest pass rush win rate over the last 2 seasons. We're just getting started with these two on NFL Live. Don't go anywhere. Joe Burrow speaks for the first time in New York. The spring meetings happening, of course, there. And there's a lot to get to, some big decisions to be made about the future of the tush-push, flag football, and so much more. You see Robert Kraft right there. Chad Kahn. There's so many of the owners that are convening there to make big-time decisions. And
who's that?
Oh, that's Jerry Jones. And that's Jeremy Fowler.
Yeah, Jeremy?
We're glad Jeremy's here with us. All right, let's start with this. When should we expect decisions on these proposals?
Laura, NFL owners are meeting as we speak on flag football. They're going to get a little proposal, and then they are going to vote on whether NFL players will be eligible for the Olympics flag 2028. The expectation is that they will. They can work out the logistics later. They have a lot of salary cap, injury prevention, ramifications. They'll talk about that later, but for now, there's a lot of excitement about players being eligible for flag. Should push through. And then we have the fireworks, the tush push. That proposal will be voted upon Wednesday morning. And so the Packers have tweaked their proposal. Last time in March, it only got 16 of 32 votes. They need 8 more votes to get a majority. There is at least some early momentum, Laura, from what I'm hearing from some team execs who say there are just a lot of teams that do want to get that rugby style of play out of the action, kind of go back to the early 2000s where you simply cannot push or pull any ball carrier. So we'll see whether that shakes out in the next 18 to 24 hours. You also have playoff reseeding. That will be discussed. I don't sense a lot of momentum from the people I've talked to around the league. There's still a lot of teams that feel that divisional winners are sacred, that they should be rewarded. But most agree that, with an 18-game schedule coming eventually, they're going to try to eliminate the meaningless games in late December, early January, but there could be a change. It just might not be now.
All right, we'll check back in with Jeremy on all the latest. As he just said, there's going to be more coming on this throughout the hour here with you. We'll be with you. Now, here's the other part of all this. The NFL owners discussing a proposal for NFL players to participate in the 2028 Olympics. Now, if approved, no more than 1 player from each NFL roster can participate for a country. There'll be appropriate injury protection provided and salary cap credit for a player that's injured during the games. And I know, I don't like that part. Well, I like it to protect them, but you don't want to think about them getting hurt. There will be an agreement that Olympic teams will implement standards for medical staff and field services. That's important. All right, let's start there. Peter, What are you hearing about this potential decision around flag football in the Olympics and the NFL's participation?
I've personally had a really interesting 24 hours because I was flipping about this yesterday. I was like, I don't need Tyreek Hill getting hurt against Latvia and all that. I heard from not only the league, but people from the Players Union. The league has 2 major initiatives in the next 10 years, flag football and international. This sport combines the two. By using NFL players as a showcase to the game, they can expand the global footprint of football as a whole. This is supposed to be like the 1992 Olympics and what Barcelona was with the Dream Team. You bring it into this stage, you are now expanding football to international waters, and a whole generation of sports fans can be watching from different countries. You combine those two things. As far as the NFL concerns, the players want to play, and the owners are for it as well. They see that this could end up being something that's both beneficial for the overall sport, but also in the summer months where football usually hits a lull. Now we're going to be talking about football, and the Olympics keep the story going, keep the flame ablaze. Dan, I see you. I see you.
No, I have questions.
I see you gasping as an NFL player yourself.
I think it's cool for the players. I really do. Everyone needs to remember that, these guys have reached the top of the mountain, more of them. They've climbed the very highest they can climb. So now this is another opportunity for them to do something that they more than likely never thought they could be. Play in the Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl and an Olympic champion, that's obviously cool. Very few people have had the opportunity. I will ask questions, hopefully you know the answer to. So these NFL guys are going to have to try out for teams?
Yeah, you have to actually do a tryout. And if you look at the NFL window, there's a very